All right. Good evening and welcome to Breaking Fry Bread. I'm Dave Wescott. This is Ty. Good afternoon. How are you, my man?
I'm doing good, man. How was your week?
You know what? It's been a busy week, and a lot of things going on. A lot of travel. A lot of people in and out of the office. Busy as normal. But listen, you guys had the big car show this weekend, didn't you?
We did. Yeah, we had on Saturday we had our Gas and Grass festival. It was a car show, and we combined it with our 420 festival. Um, it was a great day. It started out not a cloud in the sky. A lot of people there, super happy. We're like, man, this is going to be a great day, and it really was. I'll have some pictures to add, but man, it was great. And then about 2:10 p.m., you see this cloud come through, and about 5 minutes later, everybody's tents are flying all over the place. It was like Kansas City up in there, like all the cars cleared out, and within 5 minutes, it was ghost town. So
That's crazy. Dude, I love the car shows. This is one of my favorite things in the world is going to the car shows.
do you have some cars?
I do.
I was going to say, I bet you could have been there with one of your hot rods or something.
I've got a numbers matching 69 GTO.
Yeah, see, you might have won a couple awards with that bad boy.
See,
Yeah,
that's what I need to have. The problem with my GTO is it's the original green that came out of the factory, right? Every sticker, every piece of that car has been restored. And I have every video, every detail, everything about this car from stem to stern. But the thing is, even it's an amazing car. I'm just going to put it out there. It's absolutely phenomenal. But the deal is that because it's the original green, it doesn't get a lot of love.
that's because the people have to know about it, right? So you're saying it's been restored to its original form,
Yeah,
back to factory? Yeah.
everything is factory, even down to the original air conditioning unit that I purchased. I think that cost me $2,900 to find just the unit.
Wow.
Right?
What would the value on something like that be? It makes it higher because it's the original factory release, right?
I've
Doesn't
had
that up
it.
the value a little bit?
I've had it appraised at 104,000.
Wow.
So but it doesn't. But I take it to the car shows and I win one out of every three. I'll get an
Really?
award. I'll get an award. Out of like one out of every three, or every. It's disappointing sometimes.
I can imagine. I can
So
imagine.
I'm just gonna throw that out there. But I love the car show. I wish I could have. I wish I could have. Mine might have won at this one with the green.
It would have. It would have matched our shirts. It would have matched the event. It would have matched the theme for sure.
Right. It would have fit well in the Cabbage Patch field out there.
Yeah. I got a picture of the awards too. It would have matched perfectly. We had best smoked out, best Euro, best bike, um, best modern. Yeah, there was quite a few, but it was a great event. There was like 178 cars,
Okay.
and I know that we have a few more coming up, so we'll make sure we get you down for one of them.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. Maybe even we'll have to shoot a live show down there or something and talk to some folks. We'll have to do something fun like that. So I'm
That's
loving
a
your
good idea.
setup, man. I'm loving your setup. I love the fish and the mask and the vote for Ty Seahawks. I love the whole thing, man. It's looking fantastic.
Thanks, man. It's coming along. Yeah, we were up pretty late last night putting it together. My kids were excited to join in and help get it all set up. This is their microphone. This is mostly their setup. So they're my tech team here at home.
It's a family event, right?
Absolutely.
It's all about family. That's part of the native culture.
Yes, it is. And I see you're super busy with your family, man. Like They asked what you're doing. I'm like, man, I thought I was a busy guy. I was feeling a little bad for myself. Like, man, I got a busy schedule. And then I hop on your Facebook, man. You're everywhere. You're at PBR. You're at the hockey games. You're at your kids' baseball games. You're at work, man. You're in the great words of my good buddy David Bean, man. You stay in motion.
I am staying in motion. I think if I slow down, I might break.
Yeah, so you got to keep moving, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
We got to keep it. We got to keep it pushing.
It's like me on the golf course, man. If I don't keep moving, man, I stiffen up and it all goes to crap from there.
Yeah, we don't want that. We don't want that. So you got the dive mask behind you, right? Fishing is a big part of a big part of the Puyallup Tribe. And do you have that mask because fishing is a part of the tribe, or did you just like the mask, or what?
I'm a diver, a commercial gooey duck harvester. And yes, it all ties into our history, right, of our fishing rights, and then the salmon symbolizing, our people and our history. So yeah, I like to have the mask there, it kind of supports what I do. But yeah, I mean, if it weren't for the fight for our salmon and our salmon rights and the treaty rights that are ours, our tribes would not be as successful today as they are. This fight was not that long ago. It's like a fight my grandfather was in. It's a fight that some of our elders around the tribe were in themselves, and so it was a very impactful fight, the Fishing Wars Memorial, back in the 60s and 70s.
Why is that important to the Puyallup Tribe? For anybody who might not listen, or for any native, who might not be as connected, to the reservation, why is that important to us?
Because it takes us back, because our natives today, they see our casinos, they see our thriving economy, and they see a Native American and they think, wow, they're a wealthy people, but they don't understand the history and the fight that it took to get there, and it was all in our treaties. We had the right to fish, hunt, and govern our own lands, but the state was not wanting to honor that back in the day, and it took strong, resilient ancestors, like my grandfather, and a lot of other, natives and elders around the tribe across Indian country, to fight for our treaty rights. And so part of the way they had to do that was fish the river. That's how they fed their families, right? There wasn't a casino back then. There wasn't anything like that. And so it took the leaders back then to look at our treaty and say, hey, we have these rights here. We have the rights to this fish. This river, this is our usual and custom areas. This is where our ancestors grew up. This is our reservation. We have every right to this fish as the non-native does, right? So, but the state didn't see it that way. And then the clash happened, on the river. So you'd have our natives out there fishing the waters, and you'd have the fish and wildlife on the bridges, sometimes taking shots. Our natives out there fishing, and it literally came down to blows and gunshots and and warfare. And it was a big fight. We lost at the state level, but we didn't stop there. The leaders back then, they took it to the next level and it eventually made it to the Supreme Court. And that's how we have the Judge Bolt decision. Right. And the Judge Bolt decision is it determined that the natives have rights to half of the fishery and the non-natives have rights to half the fishery. So in some eyes it was a victory, and others have the opinion that we should have been given a lot more than that. But
yeah.
But when that was granted, not only did it establish our rights to fish and our rights to the waters, well, it validated our treaties, right? And so then we could expand from there, and that's why you saw smoke shops emerge, you saw fireworks stands emerge, and eventually casinos. Then we happen to be coastal Indians, so we have a lot of port property and port areas for potential for development. So we have all these opportunities because of this one fight that our ancestors did for us here, the Fishing Wars Memorial.
Wow, that's awesome. Fishing Wars Memorial. That's awesome. And I love that you know so much about that. And that's an amazing thing. How does being able to dive and be a commercial fisherman, and how does that impact tribal natives today?
For me personally, and I think for a lot of my relatives and friends, I think for one, it reconnects us. It reconnects us to our culture and our traditions, right? Every time I hit that water, 5 a.m, and we're on our way out to the dive track, you just kind of stare out into the water and you kind of reconnect, and you kind of we call it medicine. It's good medicine. For our spirit and just for overall. So it's kind of that reconnection factor. And aside from that, it's just a good way to supplement income. It's a good side hustle.
Yeah.
And it's just, we're exercising our treaty rights, and there's empowerment with that. It's just cool to say you're a deep sea diver.
That is cool.
And that's been passed down from generations. My dad was a diver. I think our first diver was in the water back in 1995. I want to say, I could be wrong. If you guys are listening, don't. But I know that's I think my dad got in the water in 96 or 97.
Okay.
But
so
man, there's some, yeah.
So diving, you're going for gooey duck, right? Is that what you're shooting for?
That's our main resource. Yes, but there are also other fisheries down there. There's a sea cucumber market. There's urchin, which takes a little more time and effort. But yes, the main resource is gooey duck.
Okay, so we got gooey duck, and then we got commercial fishermen who are hauling in salmon, right?
Yes.
Is that all they're fishing for? I mean, they can fish for sea lion now, right?
That is new. So I'm excited to see how that plays out with us. And how because we've been wanting to take them seals out in the sea lions forever.
Right.
As we're drifting the river, we're seeing our nets jump up and down. We're all getting excited, and here comes a seal, and he's taking out all the bellies of our salmon. And so, before today, all we had was seal bombs, seal bombs and M80s to try to scare them away. So I hope we get tags. I hope they have like a derby.
Oh yeah, that'd be kind of fun.
I know in New Mexico they have derbies for coyotes, right? Like they have a derby to take out coyotes and stuff. But maybe they'll let us do that here for sea lions and seals. I don't know.
In Texas, you can go hog hunting, right? You can get up in a big chopper and take an AK-47 and just smash down the hogs, right? Because they're so wild out there. So is there any particular way you take down a sea lion? Can you go smoke a sea lion with an AK-47, or is that not happening?
I think if we could find a way to do it where we do it safely, I don't know, man. I don't know. That does sound fun, though.
It does sound, the thing is, if they said, "Hey, you got to go kill the sea lion with in the native ways, without guns or any modern technology," how would you do that?
We're gonna have to have strong arms and be able to throw them spears.
That's
so,
hilarious.
Hey, you got one shot, son. You got one shot.
You got one shot. Hope he doesn't come and grab you. All right, so we got fishing. We're going after sea lions. So if someone wants to get, like, the diving sounds awesome. Like, let's say that I was like, hey, I want to go be a diver. How do you get set up to do that?
So today you have to, there's a few different training centers. The one I think most people use is in Hood Sport. I think it's a 5-day program. and in that 5 days, you get your scuba certification, and then you get your SSA, which is surface supplied air, and then you do your open water dives, and within 5 days, you're certified. And so, once you're certified, I think the class is right around 3,500, 4,000. And then I think you have to pay up front, and then the shellfish department would reimburse you. Don't quote me on that. And then once you attend the class, attend the training, then you have to find a boat or somebody to sponsor you to begin your training dives. And then you have to do 24 training dives on that boat before you can test. And then you have to take a proficiency test with the monitors. So there's monitors out there, and you have to, you're timed for 30 minutes, and you have to dig 100 pounds in 30 minutes. Why they ever set this? Why they ever set that? I couldn't tell you, but it's there. That's how you get on. And so basically, it's 4 cages in 30 minutes.
Wow, it sounds hard.
It's not that bad. It's back in the day, it was, man, the resource was plentiful. There are gooey ducks everywhere, so you can knock out 4 cages in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. But it is getting a little more challenging. Our tracks are starting to deplete and thin out. So
yeah. So with wearing the helmet that you got behind you that must weigh 100 pounds, how are you getting back up to the surface with that thing?
Luckily, I never had to wear that thing. But I can't imagine. I can imagine that was no fun task. Back in the 1900s, wearing one of those things.
Right. That thing's the real deal. So you're a Seahawks fan.
I am. Season ticket holder and all that.
Season ticket holder.
I was at the Super Bowl in 2014.
Were you?
Yeah, in New York.
Wow.
That was 2014, right?
That's when they won the Super Bowl.
Yes.
You were at the Super Bowl victory against the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, I was at the annihilation of the Broncos.
Man, that is awesome. That's a cool fact.
Yeah.
That's a bucket list item.
I can't believe you weren't there. Were you not there?
No, I wasn't. I missed that one. I missed that event. Man, going to the Super Bowl is so expensive.
Tell me about it. The only reason I was able to go that year was because there was a snowstorm anticipated in New York, right? So all of a sudden you saw the ticket prices start dropping and dropping and dropping, to where the tickets that I ended up getting were normally probably $15,000 a ticket. They dropped to within $200 of face value. So,
wow.
Yeah. So we swooped on them quick, and then I think I paid $1,200 for 2 tickets for the 100 level.
Oh man,
that's unheard of.
That is unheard of.
I will say the experience though was great, but man, getting to the arena and getting out was a nightmare.
Yeah.
They weren't allowing you to taxi in. They weren't allowing you to get an Uber ride in. There was no driving to the stadium. You had to either go in by train or subway. So you can imagine the lines at the train stations to get in.
We're just through the roof.
Oh, it was nuts. There's no bathroom. So if you had to use the bathroom and you're stuck in the middle of the line, I mean, people were peeing in bottles, and it
was a crazy experience. Okay, that's probably a whole podcast show in and of itself, going to the Super Bowl. Man, that's a bucket list item for a lot of people. I mean, people dream about going to the Super Bowl, and you saw your hometown team win the Super Bowl in New York in a blowout fashion. Incredible experience. All right, so we've almost digested the wall. So we've got vote for Ty. So I suppose you're running for council.
I am running for a council seat in the 2024 election. We just had our primary election in on April 6th. was the primary election. We had 18 very strong candidates who I was proud to, run against and be a part of, that list. When that list came out, I got to say, I was not expecting some of those folks to be on there. Last
Really?
year the year before we had 9 candidates in the primary. And so this year it literally doubled, and so I felt pretty good when I put my name in, and then you see the list come out and you're just like, wow, you had a number of previous tribal leaders, you have legends on that list. You had Ramona Bennett on that list. I don't know if you know that name, but she's walking history right there.
Yeah.
She was front and center in the fishing wars. She was there for the Cushman takeover. She was our chairwoman back then. So to see her on the list was encouraging. And we had like 3 other previous tribal leaders on there. It's just a lot of community leaders. So it was a strong list. And then so I was proud to be there. So.
I know that we're not getting political on the show, but I gotta just the door is kind of open. Why dive into tribal politics? What's in it for you? Or maybe not for you. That's the wrong way to phrase it. Why drive into tribal politics? What is your mission? What is your why behind that? That's more of how I'd like to shoot that question out there.
I've spent my entire working career here at home, outside of a few years in the trades, out on various projects outside of the res. But I spent 6 years doing projects in construction on the res, and then I spent the next 15 years working under tribal government in some form or fashion. And so and in that time, I've built a lot of relationships and a strong connection to my community, whether it was through coaching, football, baseball, or the various sports around the tribe. You just start building a connection to your community. And then, the other thing is you just want to make a difference. You kind of see how things operate, and you want to help contribute to a lot of the good things that are going on. And I felt like I can really make a difference. I can bring the voice, for our community. And so, the easy answer is I just, I felt like I could make a difference.
Yeah.
And and just with the strong understanding of how things work around the tribe, and just I have some knowledge and some extended knowledge for every department and area and entity of our tribe. And, and there's a lot of urging from my family, and, my great auntie Shirley, my uncle Bob, or not my uncle Bob, my grandpa Bob, sister, my late Aunt Shirley, that was her last wish, was for me to throw my name in and run. So I did that also to honor her this year. But
that's awesome. I love that. Congratulations on taking on the step and the leap and jumping out there to to really serve the people. Cause I think that's what, in my opinion, if I was to look at a council member, or if I was to look at, a leader in the tribe, I think of somebody who serves first. That's something I think that's important to me. Like, would you lay your life down for a brother? You know what I mean? How far do you go to serve the people and take care of the people and, make the community a better place? That's just my own thought. That's not, a derivative of any candidate or anything out there, but that's just my own thought. I guess to you, what makes a good leader?
The easy answer for me is a good leader builds other good leaders, right? And a good leader leads from the back and not the front. In the words of, Brian Clattersby from Swinomish, I heard him say once, as tribal leaders, we are at the bottom of the totem pole, lifting the rest of our community and our people up,
Yeah.
and so, that resonated with me. And it's true, like our members should be the highlight of our community. We should always be looking for opportunities to build up our youth and make them our future leaders, and make sure that they're prepared and ready. And like our students that are off in college right now, we should be excited and encouraging them. And we should have opportunities waiting for them when they get home. And so
Yeah.
for me, that's a good leader is building other leaders, leading from the back, taking on the big fights, and like you said, taking one for your brothers and sisters.
Yep. So how does a leader build another leader?
Leader builds another leader by example, right? And then and it's not just by example, but you take someone by the hand and you bring them along that journey with you. And so it's by not hiding the process, right? It's like a lot of members have that question, like, how did you do that? Or how did we get here? And it's being visible, right? It's taking them along with you for the journey. It's things like building a youth council or like a youth advisory council, right? Getting our youth involved so that they feel like they're making a difference, making an impact, and support them, right? Build them into figuring out what their passion is, and let them and empower them and help put them in positions to fulfill those dreams and those goals, right? And then they don't have to be you don't have to be a tribal council member to be a leader. We have many leaders in our community out in the fisheries. We have leaders in our culture department. We have leaders in the many different entities that are leaders in their own right, and they choose not to be on tribal council, but many of them probably could.
I think that you can be a leader no matter where you're at, no matter what your position is. And I think it comes down to understanding what the number one most important thing for the tribe to accomplish year after year is. I think that breeds solidarity. I feel like it breeds strength. It breeds common purpose. And if you look at, you go back, a few decades and you look at the race to the moon, right? And like, what are we doing? And John F. Kennedy's involved in the space program, and he says, he's at NASA and he's walking through a hallway and he sees a janitor, and the janitor's working super hard. And he asks the janitor, "What are you doing?" And he says, "I'm putting a man on the moon, Mr. President." And that's an amazing fact, because that is so powerful, because the janitor, who some would call the least important person in the organization, is committed to the mission, understands the mission, understands what we need to achieve, as a country at that particular time, at that particular organization of NASA. And it just shows the power of how you can share a message. And I think that, anytime there's change in leadership, anytime there's like what we have here, a vote, I think as somebody who isn't running for a council seat, as somebody who's just part of the membership, there's a few questions that I'd want to have answered. And I think that for me, the biggest question is, one, if there's a change in leadership, how does that affect the tribe, right? Where is the tribe going? I'd love to know that as just a member. And then two, I'd want to know, how does that affect me personally? Like, how is my life impacted? Because at the end of the day, so many of us are only focused on what's going on in front of us. How am I going to pay my rent? How am I going to take care of my kids? How am I going to put food on the table? And then what does it mean to me, right? I think that's a huge question. What does it mean to me personally? Like, why? And then the final question is, what does success look like? You know, and I think those are the questions that always run through my mind. Like, hey, let's make a change, or let's keep it as is, or let's do with this. But what does success look like? And I'm not asking you to answer those questions today, but I just think that, you know, those things, you know, are important. How do you feel about those things? How do you feel about that set of questions? Is that something that kind of burns close to you, or do you think of it completely differently, or how do you feel?
I think that's a great perspective, you know, as a community member, and those are high level questions. You know, those are questions that I would want to ask as a member myself, you know. And I know if you're a new leader that's representing change, you know, first, you know, my first thoughts are, you know, we're not coming in to change everything, right? You have to, you know, the council is supposed to be moving as one. You know, there are 7 members in the canoe all rowing in the same direction. They are making great strides, right? I guess the goal is to maintain what's going on currently and the successes that they currently have achieved, and to build on that. You know, and at the same time, identify where can we improve. You know, so identify your successes. How do we sustain that? How do we improve that? And at the same time, and you know this as a business owner, you should always be looking where can we improve in our company? Where can we improve as a tribe? Where can we improve, you know, for our people, right? So we want to make sure that this way of life that our people are currently experiencing, how do we sustain that for the next 10 years?
Yeah.
Right. And so are there some areas in the tribe that we can focus on and improve on? You know, and that would be one of my goals. And so as far as, you know, the change aspect, right? I think people are always a little bit hesitant to want change because they're scared that their way of life might change, right? Oh man,
right. I like McDonald's. McDonald's. I ain't going to Burger King. The burgers are the same, dog.
it's you know, I preach on predictable outcomes, right?
Yeah.
Why do I go to Starbucks, or why do I go to Chick-fil-A? Because it's a predictable outcome, right? And that's kind of the same thing with the council. Well, if we vote the same ones in, I know it's a predictable outcome. I know I'm still gonna get my check at the end of the month. I know I'm gonna get my bonus. And that's kind of the message that I feel like most of our members have. But
that is important, by the way.
It is.
I don't want to lose my check. You know what I mean? I don't want to lose my bonus. I don't want that to go away.
Yeah, and you know, there's the scary reality that we have to take a look at. You know, what is our financial position currently? Can we sustain this, you know, for the next 10 years? You know, where are we going to be at next year? You know, where are we going to be at 5 years from now? Those are the visions that are really hard to see. Right?
Do you mind if I ask you 3 questions?
No, go ahead, shoot.
You have no idea what they are. This is going to derail the show. Okay, so 1, speaking of checks, this is just opinion. Do you think that people in the tribe may have children just to collect a check from time to time?
Do I think that?
Yeah.
I'd hate to think that 2 people decided to have a child and conceive a child because of the financial outcome. You know, does the thought enter your mind? It enters a lot. I think it enters a lot of people's mind, you know, but I think that if that thought ever enters my mind, you know, I try to see the positive in it, and like, hey, we have another member joining our community. I have 5 kids, so I'm not really one to talk or one to judge. But
Okay.
I will say there are folks that say that. There are folks. I will say that there are people that think that.
Yeah. That's just I don't know right or wrong. I'm not here to judge. We are all in a different position, so we all need different things. I'm not here to share that. Okay. One other was, so we had our show last week, and a lot of fun. It was really great. I got a message on Facebook from a tribal member, and I got a message from a tribal member who was outside of the reservation. They live out of state, and they sent me a note, and they said, "Hey, do they ever have debates for the elected council members?" And I feel like I should know the answer to that, but I don't. So do they ever have like debates? Like, when you see the presidential debate at the US, like you've got, Biden versus Trump or whatever. Do they, I shouldn't say versus, but they have a debate in this running process, in this electoral process. Is there ever a component of a debate?
There's not a debate specifically, but we do have candidates forums, and this is not something that's put together by the tribe itself. This is an independent group of tribal members, who care about the process and who care about the election, and who really are taking a passion in it. And so they want to create this platform to help bring visibility to the election process and to actually get to know who their candidates are. And so we had one for the primary with all 18 candidates. It was open to all 18 candidates. I think we had 15 there.
Okay.
And it was more of preset questions and questions from the community that were presented to us, and we had the opportunity to answer each question. But the one thing they did different this time that I really liked was in the second session, they had us sit as if we're at the council table, and they said, okay, now the community wants to see how you guys work together as a council, and how you guys find solutions, and how you guys can have conflict and still come forth with a solution. And so we had 3 different practice scenarios, to where we were tasked with discussing the issue at hand, and coming up with some solutions. And I thought that was very successful. One of them was tarot, a tarot-based question, and
I bet you killed that one.
Oh man, that's why I was hoping that we could. Hey, we showed that we could do it here with 15 people. Why can't we do it with 7? So
yeah,
I know it's a lot more. I know there's a lot more involved with that, but we did. We showed a path forward for tarot. A motion was presented that would allow tarot jurisdiction for the employment portion on the projects, so that our people could get back to work, and then we would table the tax portion. So that was one success. But there was 2 other scenarios, that we were able to tackle. But I was just contacted by Patricia Conway. She's the one that kind of leads the efforts to put these forums together, and she's already reached out to put together the one for the general election. I'm not sure when it's going to be. She was just wondering what my availability was, but I'm excited to see what kind of format they come up with this go around. Maybe there will be a debate component to it. I hope there is.
A debate would be awesome. Just speaking about just the fun of the whole thing. All right, I got one final question. We got to bring this thing in for a landing. We are a little bit over time, but that's okay. We're having a good time. What do you do better than anybody else? What's your what would you say is your superpower in a world of Marvel comics and DC and all that craziness. Not that I'm asking you to fly, but if you can, that's pretty cool. But just as a human being, a man, a leader in the tribe, what do you do better than anybody else?
I think my strengths are, I move with purpose. I move with love. I love our community. I love building relationships. I understand the importance of putting positive energy out into the universe. I've seen the benefits of that, and I've seen the healing that doing that can bring. And I feel I know it sounds basic, but doing all of those things, man, there's a lot of good things that come back to you, and another part of that is I'm just available. I try to make every person feel a part of the team and feel important. Just like you said, the janitor has to be bought into the vision just as much as the rest of the team. He is just as important to that team as everybody else. And that just shows the strength of a true leader, that you can make the janitor feel as important and as included in the team as everybody else. That's powerful. So I think for me is I've been in the trenches. I've been in the trenches out there, and I've worked my way through the community, side by side with my community, never standing in front of them, only standing side by side, together. So I think I represent that. And no matter if I get on council this time around or not, I'm still going to be right there, so.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, listen, I love what you've had to say. I love what you shared here. Move with purpose and move with love. That's a powerful statement. Yeah. I'm Dave. This is Ty. The show, Breaking Fry Bread, here every single Wednesday, 5 o'clock. We're having a good time. Join us. Drop your comments into the comment box. If you like it, give it a like, give it a share. Follow us on everywhere we're at social. Ty, where are you at social? What platforms are you on?
I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, LinkedIn. I think that's it.
All right. I'm on all of those, including YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, anywhere we're at social. We're both hanging out. Follow us. Hang out. Drop your comments in. Send us some direct messages. Hope you love the show. Thank you so much, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week.
See you, Dave. Have a good week, man.
Adios, brother.
Oi.